57 years ago today was a dark day in the history of modern music. We now know February 3rd, 1959 is the day the music died. As Jesse Garcia shows us tonight, it's a tragedy with a little-known connection to Milwaukee.
They were three stars with hit songs. 22-year-old Buddy Holly, known for mega singles like That'll Be the Day. 17-year-old Richie Valens, most famous for La Bamba. And 28-year-old J.P. Richardson, who went by the stage name The Big Bopper and sang Chantilly Lace. On February 3rd, 1959, the unthinkable happened. All three died in a small plane crash following a concert in Clear Lake, Iowa. It was part of a winter dance party that zigzagged across the upper Midwest.
That tour actually started right here in Milwaukee. The first night of the winter dance party was held at this venue. Back then, it was called George Devine's $1 Million Ballroom. Today, we know it as the Rave Eagles Club.
Almost 6,000 young people crammed in, according to a Milwaukee Sentinel critique the next day. To quote the reviewer, the twitching rock and rollers invoked screams that surely melted the snow on the roof of the ballroom.
This is kind of the best-kept secret.
Rocky Kriegel owns Stardust Records in Thiensville. He remembers that night well, even though he wasn't there.
I was like 17, and I wanted to go see him, but I thought the next time. There was no next time, of course.
From Milwaukee, the tour went on to Kenosha, but the entire trip was poorly planned and the bus broke down often, leading Holly to charter a plane. They took off in bad weather and crashed in a field a short time later.
I heard it on the radio and I was pretty devastated.
It was one of the coldest winters ever.
Bruce Cole teaches music and is the curator of a Milwaukee music collection at Marquette University.
I believe it was below zero, at least 10 or something like that. And I think it was like $1.50 to get in. I was a bit young at that time, and $1.50 was a lot of dough.
In storage, the rave still has some Buddy Holly artifacts encased in glass. This is the only known photo of Holly from the Milwaukee show. He was a huge influence to later musicians.
The Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Elton John.
Plus Bob Dylan, who attended the winter dance party in Duluth, Minnesota, just 2 nights before the crash as a teenager. In 1971, Don McLean penned the ballad American Pie about the tragedy, coining the term the day the music died.
For me, it was the end of rock and roll. Even though it wasn't, I thought so at the time.
The crash site is now a shrine to the performers. Rocky goes there every year at this time to pay homage.
Just to remember.
February 3rd lives in infamy in music history, with Southeast Wisconsin being a part of the story. In Milwaukee, Jesse Garcia, today's TMJ4.
That's an important history lesson. Thank you, Jess.